Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the Bad at Magic podcast, a podcast about games, life, and other things. And welcome to episode 159.
So, Ben, episode 159. I am going to petition all of our listeners to give us all the clicks. We want you to click on all of our stuff. We need you to go to Reddit and click on things. The little up arrows, preferably. We need you to go onto the Facebook and click all the little... I don't even know what the Facebook doohickeys are anymore. But it's like, what is it? Thumbs up?
Like,
is it still a thumbs up? Or is it
subscribe,
some weird Gen Z thing? Like subscribe,
follow.
The bell, all the things. Yeah. This is starting to sound like a really bad YouTube, like subscribe to us, please, we're desperate kind of thing. But I say this because in stretching so hard to find something about 159, I discovered that 159 in Roman numerals is CLIX, which is clicks. And so I want all the clicks for 159.
Okay, you outdid yourself that time. I loved it. One of my favorite podcasts is Dear Hank and John, John and Hank Green, the famous science educator and author. And they always start off with like a dad joke, and most of the time they fall flat, and that's just stick. But sometimes it really lands, and that one felt like that. So nice.
That's good. I'm glad that my minimum amount of effort can entertain you on these bad numbers.
Listeners, 159 is also the number of hours that Josh worked this week because, unbeknownst to us, tax accountants live in some kind of hole in the space-time continuum where not only are they busy in April, but also in September. I have no idea why.
You're only busy in September if you have terrible clients that hate you. That's what it is.
Oh, well, we established that last time about...
Counting would be great if it wasn't for all these stupid clients. So it's September 15th is the business tax extension deadline. Have you ever heard of this? You file your taxes like, oh, you can get an extension. An extension is 6 more months. You just have to send a little permission slip. You doesn't have to get approved. You just tell the government, hey, government, I need more time. I need 6 more months to get my stuff together. The problem is it's usually the worst kinds of clients that are extending. Like, if you have to extend once because of extending in circumstance, like, oh, I was going to do my taxes this week, but I got hit by a golf cart, that's totally understandable. You just do them next week. But the people that extend every single year, because it rolls around to March, and you're like, hey, I need your stuff to do your taxes for, 3 months ago. And they're like, oh, I haven't gotten that stuff done yet. That's just extend. And then I'm poking them again 6 months later. Here we are in September of 2025. I'm like, hey, did you ever get that bank statement from December of 2024? 9 months ago? The stuff we've been asking you for 10 months now? You still don't have it? Well, now you're going to have...
Now it's an emergency. Yep. Is it ever like that scene on Stranger Than Fiction where she brings out like a file box full of receipts that all look wadded up and hands it to you?
Okay. Listeners, here's a little peek into the tax world for just a second. Don't ever give your accountant a box of receipts. I don't want them. I want you to add them up. I want you to give me a number. Okay? I don't care. You don't have to prove to me. All right, take that back. If your accountant wants you to prove to them, or did you really have $364 of medical expenses? Get a different accountant. Okay? I tell clients this all the time. They're like, oh, do you want me to send you the receipt? I was like, no. You show the IRS the receipt if they ever come down and they ask for that $364. I don't care. I believe you. I don't want to sift through your box of tobacco-covered, foul-smelling thermal paper with half the numbers.
I think that shows properly aligned incentives to me in this system. In that if something goes wrong, the liability is on the client and not on the accountancy firm. So it's not. You're not worried about that.
I'm not worried as long as I have one thing from the client that I can prove. Nope, the client told me this number. As soon as I get an email from you saying, yep, that's the number, I'm good because that's my get-out-of-jail-free card. Nope, client told me, PBC, provided by client. You go argue with them about it.
Got it. Huh. Well, there's a scene in the movie Die Hard with the one that's set in New York City with Jeremy Irons. What's that one called? It's the third one.
With a Vengeance?
With the Vengeance. That's it, with the Vengeance. Yeah. I always remember this scene where, like, John McClane's coming out and a kid comes running out of a convenience store with his arms loaded full of stuff. He's like, kid, what are you doing? He's like, you could rob Fort Knox right now. All the cops are gone. And he runs off. And I think that's got to be what it's like in the tax space right now, with the federal government cutting the IRS by like 90%. Like they there's no way they have time to focus on anything but like the most dire emergencies and egregiously, fraudulent looking tax returns.
Okay, so we actually get some of these statistics because the IRS puts them out. Nobody pays attention, but the IRS put out a pie chart of here are the people that we were going to hire with this new funding that we got for the legislation before it passed. And here's everybody that we fired after the legislation and all the extra money went away. And what the one key fact that they do not say is the demographics of the people that were fired. And to be clear, they fired 40% of their workforce after the current administration decided to claw back all of that funding that they were supposedly going to have. And here's the thing about that, Ben. If it's a budgetary thing, the administration did not go to the IRS and say, fire exactly this many people. The administration said, cut your budget by this dollar amount. And there's 100 ways to skin that cat. And so if you just hired like tens of thousands of brand new employees that you've been training up for like 2 months when this comes down, and then you say, okay, we got to fire a bunch of people or we have to get rid of a bunch of people. You and I both work for the government. The first thing they do is they ask for volunteers. Do you think any of the new people that just got this shiny new job with the government volunteered, Ben?
Maybe if there's an incentive.
Maybe.
I didn't do anything yet. You're going to give me a 3-month severance to quit now? Okay.
Okay, thanks for derailing my
Okay, sorry. No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not, Josh. They're all going to cling on with their nails and their teeth and not let go.
Hey, you're missing. All right, the point that I was trying to make, that I guess I wasn't making clear enough, is that there's going to be a non-zero portion of people that have been there for 19 and a half years. Be like, hey, we got to cut a bunch of people out of the budget. If you want to leave now, we'll give you 6 months early on your retirement.
Right.
And so they hire
those
a ton of
gone.
Those guys are gone. So they hire a bunch of brand new people, and then they have to fire a bunch of people, and a portion of that, like, I don't know how big that portion is because these are the numbers that they're hiding. There is a portion of that where they lost their most experienced, most knowledgeable people that actually understand what the crap is going on. And so not only is the IRS now gone through this roller coaster of, well, we don't know how we're going to get anything done anymore, but they also lost a huge chunk of experience and just know-how. And I am convinced to my marrow that I know more about some of these IRS forms than the people working at the IRS do. Because there are things that I put on these forms.
Of course you do, Josh.
There are things you put on there that have never been questioned. And my boss even goes, this would be so easy to run through a computer and figure out, oh, well, this is the stuff that we can easily catch people on. All right, we're going down into tax nightmare.
I mean, you just spent a whole bunch of hours on this, but yeah.
Okay, let me give you one example. Like, one easy way to save money if you're a small business owner is to become an S-Corp. With a bunch of caveats. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Talk to your tax professional about your specific situation, blah, blah, blah. Do not try to save money based on what I'm saying on a podcast. Anyway, if you're making a certain threshold of income, it makes a lot of sense to take your lawn mowing business and turn it into an S-Corp for specific reasons. But one of the things you have to do if you're an S-Corp is you have to pay yourself a salary via payroll and pay payroll taxes. This is where the savings comes from. But do you know how many people have an S-Corp that don't ever pay themselves a dime through payroll? It's box number 4 on the form. How much did you pay yourself through payroll? And it's blank every time. And my boss always says, that would be so easy to just destroy 30% of the people with these businesses out there is to just run a quick check. How many people submitted a form with this number being 0?
Right.
And then I got to look him in the face and go, oh, sweet, innocent honey bear. You have no idea how antiquated government computer systems are, do you?
It's not as easy as you think.
No, this is why they have buildings full of paper files, and I get requests from the IRS regularly like, hey, this form you filed 2 years ago, we lost it. Please send us another copy.
Okay, Josh, I want to take a little detour on a kind of bad at parenting thing. Let me take on the bad at parenting first. Okay, so there's a problem. There's a lot of problems parenting is a never-ending well of being bad at stuff because there's no manual for this. You're making it up as you go along. Every kid is an individual. It's just never-ending.
Well, just about the time you get good at it, you die.
No, you never get good at it. So here I am not being good at it in midlife. And my youngest child is 15. I've got, 4 kids that are technically adults, only 2 left at home. And here's the problem. I've just got done with a year of like being on the private sector, retired from the military treadmill. And it's good. Like I got a good job that fits in my wheelhouse and I'm getting paid well. And I like my coworkers and I got a short commute and a lot of good things. But it's a little bit dull compared to the military. There's no, I didn't have to go requalify in the M16. There was no wing exercise. Anyway, so I just needed a vacation. So I'm like, okay, that sounds easy. I can just plan a vacation. Because when I was in the military, our vacation was always going back home to visit family, and that used up all my leave. So we never went anywhere to like be away. We always went back to see the family. Well, now I have the opposite problem. I live here near all my family, and the vacation is to get away from them. Not really. I just want to go do something relaxing. Well, here's the problem. I have 2 kids that are fully dependent children that live in my house that are in high school. And then I have another 2 kids that live in my house that are somewhat independent, partially launched young adults. And then I have 1 kid that's on a mission full time. That's not a problem right now because he's locked down.
Yeah, the God's going to take care of that kid.
But before, when my kids were all minors, they were on a full ride scholarship when it came to vacations.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Okay.
And now
I hope I see where this is going.
Yeah, and now I got 2 that are still on the full ride scholarship, and I got 2 that have been here 7 or 8 years into their bachelors, and what do I do when I plan a vacation? Are they still on a full ride scholarship? Do I plan whether or not I can go on the vacation based around their work and school schedules?
Ben, you have a wonderful opportunity to create a PowerPoint slide and become a travel agent for an afternoon. It's like, all right, welcome to Rich Travel Agency. Here are the packages that we have available, and these are non-negotiable. These are the things that I am planning on doing. You may participate at whatever level you choose.
Josh, this would work perfectly if the Rich Travel Agency weren't a partnership. Where the
Oh, you're not the majority shareholder either. Oh.
We do not see eye to eye on this issue. I'll just put it that way. So I kind of did what you said with the PowerPoint slide. I sent out a note to the family. I'm like, hey, we're going to go to Disneyland on these dates. If you'd like to come with us and it works in your schedule, you can come. But if you're not one of the youngest 2, it's going to cost you. And then
absolutely.
And then my wife and I got in a fight about how much, not like a real bad fight, but just a disagreement because she still wants to treat them like they're on a full ride scholarship still. I think that's a little disrespectful to the position they're at in life.
Yeah. Well, I love how you phrase that. I think it's disrespectful to them as grown adults that should be paying their own way instead of mooching off me this entire vacation.
Mooching is a strong word. I don't know if I'd use that one, but it's just this dilemma I didn't anticipate.
I'm completely with you on this one. It is not okay to just be like, oh, you guys going to Disneyland? So when should I pack? It's like, right. I'm sorry, you don't live here.
Yeah. Okay, so then there's the other side of this, and that is I like them. I want them to be there. I want to accommodate them. But I was also looking forward to being a slimmer family. You already have the luxury of being a 2-child family. I am finally at the point in my life, for the first time ever, where we're only a 2-child family. Like,
hang on a second. When you say ever, I want to believe there was a time before you were married, or maybe shortly after you were married that you didn't.
My wife's already yelling at the podcast by the fact that I'm even using this terminology.
Fair enough. Okay.
They are still your children. Like, okay, yeah, they're still my children.
But they're not my dependents.
Right. Anyway, it's a little bit alluring to think, man, we could just the 4 of us go and the meals cost less and I only got to get 1 hotel room and like the admission is left and the extra money that I have from not spending it on like getting 3 hotel rooms and paying all those admission, we can spend on other things. Like it's kind of enticing.
This is what I'm talking about with the Rich Travel Agency, like tiered packages. Like, okay, if you want to be like a full dependent like you were, you want the gold package. That's $3,000 down. I will plan your hotel. I will pay for every meal. I will get you snacks while you're at the park. But that's cash up front. We've got lesser ones. You pay for your own hotel room, and we'll get you there. Stuff like that. I mean, there's options here.
The way you say it so calm and cool like that, it sidesteps all of the arguments about whether or not that any of that's true. I don't know. I don't know the right answer to this. I'll tell you what did happen. One of my 2 fully launched children really wanted to come, and so they came. We worked out a deal. I won't say what the deal was. It definitely wasn't $3,000. And we had a great time. So put the midlife family vacation drama behind you, and I want to talk about. Okay, so we drove down to Vegas the first night and then drove to Disneyland the next morning and got to the Magic Kingdom on a day that I'd found on the calendar where it was uncrowded. And it was 90 degrees, but I know to Arizona that doesn't sound hot, but...
Ben, it was 96 degrees the other day, and I went for a 3-mile run and thought to myself, wow, it is really nice outside.
Okay, good. Sorry, I evoked the Arizona spell.
Whenever anybody says, "Oh man, it was so hot today," an Arizonan will burst through your wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
You call this hot?
This is hot.
Okay. I went to Disneyland because I wanted to experience a little magic and a getaway and feel relaxed, and it was all of those things. It was so, Josh. I want to try to articulate why that place is so magical. And part of it is I've invested so much time of my life in consuming the intellectual properties that they've brought to life in that place. I mean, and I'm talking like Disneyland's been around since the 50s, and it still has like the treehouse from Swiss Family Robinson. I grew up watching Swiss Family Robinson like on repeat. And so to go there and climb through that treehouse is like my childhood fantasies coming to life. And that's just one tiny legacy exhibit in one small part of the park. If you don't throw in any of the fact that they built an entire Star Wars universe and the entire Main Street and backlot from Cars in Radiator Springs, or that they built the entire city of San Francisco from Big Hero 6, including like this giant Golden Gate Bridge with Asian style arches. I could just go on, but it's like you're primed to just have a magical time because it's all of the background music playing in the background is the songs I grew up singing. You know, it's just never ending.
Yeah. It's nostalgia, the place.
Yes, that's it. And it's, you know, none of the rides are particularly thrilling compared to like a Six Flags Over Texas or something like that.
Yeah.
But even though my peaks aren't as high, my overall involvement, engagement, and pleasure level is very, very high at that place. Like, I've never had a bad time at a Disney park, except maybe the time I got COVID.
Well, it's good to hear all that because I am canonically taking my family to a once-in-a-lifetime Disney World vacation.
When are you leaving?
Sometime in the next quarter.
Okay, cool. So there's never a bad time. Your kids are going to have a great time. They totally will.
We're going in the winter and we're worried about being cold. We looked up the weather and it's like, the averages are going to be in like the 70s. Yeah, and I am 100% bringing long pants and a jacket every day.
Oh, man. Oh, we'd also gotten there right after they put up the Halloween decorations. I don't know if that matters to you. It was kind of interesting. It was a little bit early, but I guess they just got to decorate for a season. Like, for instance, they'd converted the Haunted Mansion ride to Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Oh, okay.
All the characters and everything happening on the ride all were themed with Jack and the Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's canonically a Christmas movie, but good try, Disney.
Yeah. Anyway, they gave it, you know, the ride has a little plot, and they gave it a Halloween-y thing. I got to say, Josh, of all if I were to make a alignment chart of all the characters I could think of, Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas is maybe the most purely chaotic evil character I can think of.
Chaotic evil?
Yeah.
No. Maleficent from the original Sleeping Beauty. Ben, she cursed an infant to die because she wasn't invited to a party.
Okay, I love this. I want to do a like March Madness style baddie
Oh, who's the worst bad guy?
Yeah, bracket. Where we like put it on our. I'm gonna do this, listeners. I'm gonna do this. I'll figure out how to do it. I'll put it on our subreddit, probably just a little bit at a time, where we'll put up and you'll go in and vote, and then it'll be a bracket, and we'll maybe like 8 on one side, 8 on the other, and we'll see who ends up being the most chaotic, evil Disney baddie.
And if Gaston wins, there will be a bonus episode where Ben is not here, and it is just me screaming to the sky about how Gaston is not the bad guy.
Perfect. In 2004, just as I was ending my career as a middle school teacher to join the United States Air Force, the eighth grade class contacted me and asked if I'd be willing to be a chaperone for the 8th graders to take their trip to go down to Disneyland. And they told me it as a perk of riding along with a bunch of 8th graders on a bus all day to go to Disneyland, that I could bring one family member with me. And we had a couple of babies at the time, so I brought 5-year-old Michael with me. And so he and I went there, and all we had to do, like I didn't have to follow the kids once they're in the park, because we just rode the bus with them and then said goodbye, and they went and played the day in the park.
I would hope you have to count them at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, you know, more or less. Like you round up.
It's fine. Are you all here? Everybody got your buddy? Okay, whatever. It's fine.
We don't want to lose anyone. Not again. So Michael and I had a magical day in the park together. Just for free trip to Disneyland for the day. And as we were leaving the park, we were exhausted because you in a normal day, you put in 2,000 steps, and at Disneyland, you put in 20,000. And we were kind of trudging back to the bus with our heads packed with happy memories. And he looks up at me and says, "Daddy, when are we coming back here?"
And he never came back until he was 27 years old.
And every time I go to a Disney park, Disney sponsored the podcast, that's always the last thought on my mind as I'm leaving. When am I coming back here?
That's perfect. This is the core memory I want to instill in my kids. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it.
Good. I hope you have a great time. Okay, Josh, I know you've been super busy this week, and I haven't actually confirmed, so I may be embarrassing you on the podcast here, but I want to do the third entry in our series on the 5 love languages, where we do a Bad at Magic style deep dive.
Whoa! You are... Like, is this our main topic? Are you skipping, like, all of our normal, like, meat and potato stuff?
It's not. No. Now I'm going to have to edit all that out.
Oh. Or not. Okay. Just leave it in. So, I just don't know what's going on canonically.
Well, all I'm asking is, because I don't know yet, and you haven't typed it in the notes, so were you able to come up? So this time on the deep dive, we're going to do the love language of quality time. So, Josh, have you created an intensity metric for the love language of quality time?
Okay. You say this like, I don't know, do you have a process for this kind of thing? Because I don't. Like, it sounds like, oh, you gave me a task and I had to sit down and research and, like, get some graph paper or some, like, psychology textbooks.
I don't know what your creative process is. You did such a good time last time. I assumed you had some kind of magic.
Yeah, it is. It's just my brain. These things just birth forth from the frothing nonsense that is.
Lay it on me. I can't wait to make the infographic like I did the last 2 times.
And we're going to start with mine. Okay. So quality time. This is, you need to spend time with the other person. And when you spend quality time together, that is a love language that some people appreciate more than others. My wife is one of these people that really appreciates quality time. And I have to say, I probably am too. So this is the thing. I am having a hard time imagining it. It's going to be some kind of a heat map because there's multiple axes and colors involved. That's the only way I can get it to work in my head. Okay. All right, because it's each person has their own graph for how they want to spend quality time. Okay, and then they have to overlap, and it's the intersection of these desired quality times that then become this heat map. Like, oh, this is a good area. And the idea here is this. On one axis of one person's graph is how much I enjoy doing the thing. Okay? How much I enjoy doing it. And the other axis is the opportunity cost of doing the thing. Okay? So there is quality time where you sit down where like, oh, I really want to sit down and watch this rom-com that is going to have nothing for you as a cis white man in it. Maybe a couple of snarky jokes from Jude Law or something. I'm obviously not this person. I love a good rom-com. But like that one is like, okay, yes, I would love to sit here and have this quality time with you, but I am not motivated to do so, and the opportunity cost feels higher for something because I don't really want to do.
I got something else I need to do right now.
Yeah, or just whatever, or like we could be doing something else. At the same time, if you ask your spouse to go laser tagging with you, maybe she loves laser tag, and that's a really warm spot in your guys' heat map that overlaps. But if she hates it, but she decides that she's going to do it because it's the quality time, then that means a lot to me, and that's just going to annoy her. And
okay,
so,
I get what you're saying. I'm not sure how I'm going to represent it.
Oh, you're not. This is some hypothetical, like, 4-dimensional tesseract picture.
Okay, because I think there's two other factors that we need to factor in. One is the willingness of the person. Like, even if there is an opportunity cost, if I don't do it grudgingly, I think that puts more of a deposit in the love bank than if you do it grudgingly. Like that meme from Bob's Burgers. Okay, I'll do it, but I'm going to complain the entire time.
Yeah, that's a modification of the quality time itself. Like, the quality time is more if you swallow all that vitriol and just, you can't get out of it, so just get into it.
Yeah, well said. And then the other is, I think that quantity also matters. Like, quality can be made up of by your investment in it, your engagement in it, your willingness to participate, and then quantity also matters. So
the amount so is it an amount of time thing, or is it the number of times in a week? Like, that's going to be different depending on the activity, I feel like.
Sure, but you can't be like, okay, we're going to have really good quality time for 15 minutes, and then I got to go. So, like...
No, hang on. Like, you say that, but at the same time, it is possible to have really high quality time in 15 minutes.
Sure.
You just can't put it on a calendar and focus it like that.
Right. In fact, doing that kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
are we still talking about quality time, Ben?
But sometimes I'll cuddle up to next to my wife on the couch, and we'll just like do the crossword together. And once the crossword's done, it's over, and I get up and go. But that was like that was the full quality time deposit in the bank for the day.
Yeah. All right. So recently, there's a video game that came out that destroyed the internet, blew it up. Like it was a couple of Fridays ago. Silk Song
sequel to Hollow Knight.
Chef's kiss. I'm 8 hours into it, and like I'm working 40-hour plus weeks, so that should tell you something about
this.
How
this
much
thing's
I'm
been in development for like 8 years or something like that.
Something like that, and it shows. It's so good and so polished, and like the little details. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the game, like no spoilers, whatever. But there is an area that's very ant themed. Like, they're ants. The bugs are ants. Okay. And when you kill bad guys, like their bodies are left behind, and sometimes they'll drop little things that you can pick up. This entire area is infested with these little tiny ants that you can see like crawling on the walls in the background and like along the floor in some of the spaces. If you don't do anything, if you don't pick up the collectibles, the ants will. Like, the little tiny ants will pick up the little collectibles, and they'll like start hauling them away for a little while, and then they'll get sucked down into the dirt. Like, who thinks of this? Who spent a month programming the algorithm of like how and where these things are going to get picked up and carried off by the background ants?
You can't interact with the tiny ants, but they interact with the environment that you're in.
Yes, exactly. That's just so just little details like that. It feels like a labor of love. Anyway, so there's been a few evenings where this is normally the time that we would sit together on the couch and try to find a TV show that we like.
This is where the opportunity cost is higher for you.
Well, the opportunity cost broke a threshold, and so there's been a couple of nights where it's like, "Oh no, sweetheart," and I just wave at her. You go ahead and watch your show that I don't like. I'm just gonna sit over here and just do my own thing. I'm totally fine. Don't worry about me. But I can't do that, every day straight, because then it's gonna start being a withdrawal. I've still got to make deposits into the quality time bank.
Yeah. My wife recognizes when I'm doing something. Like, she knows she knows when I'm playing a match on Magic Online. Like, there's money on the line, and it's time sensitive. Like, I can't just pause it, and if I step away, I'll lose the match, and that's forfeited. And she respects that, and I love that about her. But every now and then, she'll come up and like push herself between me and the computer, and just be like, "I want you to show me that I'm more important to you than that." Like the scene on A Knight's Tale, where the maiden tells the knight that she wants him to lose the tournament for her.
And that's when you alt F4 immediately, because at the end of the day, yeah, there's money on the line. Yeah, it might be important, but not that important.
You're right, and you're so good about the way you say this, and I do it at the time. This is the way I'm able to not store up any resentment over it. I think, is my wife worth $5 to me? Definitely. Like, am I willing to put? She knows that I'm losing $5 right now. If is putting $5 in the relationship bank going to pay a dividend? Definitely. Okay.
Here's the real discussion around that, because I have the same thing. Every once in a while, I don't play a lot of Magic Online, but when the Vintage Cube is up, I'll put some money into that because I really like the Vintage Cube. And my wife knows that if I sit down to do it, like, I'm going to need 45 minutes uninterrupted time to get through like one match. And at first she did not realize that, and there was some friction, and then we came to an understanding. And so the understanding and the truce kind of is this. She knows that if I'm in the middle of this match, I can't just get up and walk away from it because there's a chess timer. But she also knows, and she has to rely on the fact that if she asks me, hey, when you're done, can you do X? That I am going to stop playing, get up, and
start
go
another
do X.
match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like that. So restate the heat map concept one more time so that future me can make an infographic of it.
I don't know. You altered it in a way that's really good. So we have this two-dimensional graph for each person, where it talks about how much they like the thing versus the opportunity cost of doing something else. Okay,
I think I can represent this. You have basically a single x-axis with one person on one end and one person on the other end, and the intensity increases as it gets towards the middle.
Okay, maybe.
And then certain activities are in the middle for both.
But there's like this overlapping. I don't know. I feel like there's so many variables in this. It's got to be. I can't visualize it, Ben. I can only think in 3 dimensions because I'm a 3-dimensional being. And there's also some, like, we need to talk to a physicist. We need to talk to like an electrical engineer. Somebody does integral, like differential equations or something. Because then there's modifiers, like we were talking about, for the amount of time that goes into it. There's modifiers for, like, I don't know. Because sitting down on the couch watching
time.
Well, not only that, but then like how difficult is it to do? I can go sit down on the couch with my wife and watch a show. That's quality time, but like there's an intensity level there where it's like, this happens all the time. But if I go out of my way to plan a full evening and like sweep her off her feet and take her salsa dancing and then to her favorite margarita place and then come back and then we just sit in a candlelit room and read our favorite books for an hour, that's going to earn more points, but it's also going to take a lot more effort.
Josh, that was awesome. I just swooned a bit. So I used to plan those kind of, I used to enjoy, this shows that this is my love language. When I was deployed, I used to enjoy planning some kind of elaborate date after I got back. Like after I got back from Afghanistan in 2011, I got us a hotel room in Denver, and we went up and we went to a Rockies game in the afternoon. And then the next day we went and saw we dressed all in like a brand new dress and a tuxedo and went and saw Phantom of the Opera at the theater. Like, and it was fantastic. It got reservations at like a 4-star restaurant and all that stuff.
Oh, we ate foie gras and it was terrible. Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to add to this is the subtypes, like I always do. So I want to give 5 subtypes of someone whose love language is quality time. So the first one is the conversationalist. This is someone who feels and expresses love in quality time as conversation, as intercourse.
I feel like this is one that overlapped a little bit with the words of affirmation love language.
Yes.
It's not just saying it. It has to be like a back and forth.
Right. Exactly. And I recognize that there is some overlap here, but focus on the time piece of this. Like, I want to spend time together, but I don't want to be watching a TV show or a ball game or on a vacation or something like that. I want to be looking each other in the eye and having a deep discussion.
I want your full attention. Your full undivided being needs to be focused on me.
Yep. So the characteristics of this is someone that likes meaningful dialogue, can engage in active listening, is willing to give their undivided attention and deliberately put away distractions, give eye contact, and all of this helps foster intimacy in the relationship. Some people don't feel it this way.
Wow,
I definitely do.
We clearly, because this is a little gross. We're doing this right now. We do this every 2 weeks. Then, like, we have both said that we have to have the webcams on because if we can't see the other person, there's just something that's not there. The spark just isn't there between us. The chemistry.
That's right. So this is the conversationalist. The second subtype is the adventurer. Nothing like the conversationalist. You could be both, but the adventurer is somebody that wants quality time to be some kind of an adventure. Whether it's an elaborate date like you described, or a vacation, or an experience. They want to go to that weird restaurant where you're in the dark and they serve you the food with the lights off, or what, just they want to have an adventure, go to an escape room, go on a walk, just do something together. These kind of people feel also the same kind of quality time when they just, like I was talking about, planning it, and then feel a sense of achievement when they achieve it. And on a smaller scale, it could just be day-to-day activities like going to parties or having adventures or having a date night. This is the adventurer.
There's a subgenre, I don't know what to say, of this that I am.
A subtype.
A subtype, or just a flavor of this. I don't know. However you want to phrase it or think of it in your mind. Because like I'm not big on adventure anymore. I'm too old. I'm too old for that nonsense. But at the same time, everything that I do that I enjoy is made better when my wife is involved. Ooh. And I want her to be there with me to experience these things.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's what makes it quality time. Like, I love playing disc golf. And it's like, do you want to play disc golf? Or do you want to play disc golf and also have your wife there? Like, yeah, yes, please.
Do you want to play disc golf and also play with your wife? You might not like that. You're super competitive, and if she got better than you,
but if she'll come along and like spot my next shot that's kind of thrown into a place where if I might lose track of it, or if she's there to witness my second ever hole in one and be like, wow, that was a really great throw. Like, man, that just goes through the roof for me.
Yeah, I don't think you want that. I think you want that because what you want is somebody that's following you around with your face on a T-shirt and a little flag that's cheering for you. What you're gonna get is somebody disengaged and like reading a magazine or flipping through her phone, like, yeah, great shot, honey.
Okay, but we talked about that already with your intensity metric, and that is like if you're gonna come and you're gonna be unwilling about it, then it doesn't count. Just like
it's almost inverse. Like you're actively making it worse. You make me feel stupid for dragging you out here to do this thing.
Yeah. No, you're an idiot. How much did you spend on? Why do you have so many discs in the trunk? How much did you spend on those? How many do you have?
No, I'm asking now. How many discs do you have?
It's unknown. I can't count that high. I need. This calls for a spreadsheet.
I have this app on my phone where I put in the shot and it tells me exactly which one of my discs I should pull out of the bag.
All right. The third subtype for the quality time love language is the athlete. This is somebody that wants to spend quality time in a way where it's going to get your heart rate elevated. You know, they want to go running. They want to play tennis together. They want to go on. They want to go up for a round of golf. They want to play basketball. They want to go for a hike.
My wife and I have a gym membership to our local gym. And during non-crazy times, twice a week, we go to a spin class together. And we go there, and it's very clear that we are there for different reasons. Like, obviously, the reason is like, it's fitness. A good class, and you get your heart rate up, and it's fitness, and blah, blah, blah. But, like, there's always some point where the instructor, like, you're climbing some hill, and she'll be like, why? Think about why you're here and give it a little more effort. And I always look at my wife like, I'm here for her. And she's always looking straight ahead like, I'm here to look better than everyone else in this room. And, like, we are just there for two very different reasons.
Great. But that's an example of you guys having quality time under the subtype of athlete. So I love that. All right. The fourth one, and you've mentioned this already several times, the fourth subtype under the quality time love language is the homebody. Like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to interact with other people other than you, but I also don't want to be by myself. So let's pick a show we both want to watch and cuddle up together on the couch. Let's pop a bowl of popcorn and let's make snarky remarks together about it as we watch it and laugh about it later and make inside jokes about the Rick and Morty or whatever. And the homebody.
Yeah, that's great. Love it. I just like we do this all the time. We have a Venn diagram of TV shows, right? Like there's shows that she watches that I don't care for. There's shows that I watch that she doesn't care for. And then there's this little overlap of like, these are shows that everybody likes. And we're not allowed to watch those shows if the other person isn't around.
Exactly. I like it. That also falls into your intensity metric. If it's a thing that's in the overlap space, it's actually negative if you do it without the other person.
This is why I ended up watching all of Andor Season 2 on my phone.
I don't know how to draw a conclusion for that. Does that mean that it was in the overlap space and you didn't want her to know you were watching it? Or does it mean it was completely in your space and not in hers and you didn't want to monopolize the TV?
We the second one. Like we watched the first episode and she was doom scrolling the whole time. I'm like, all right, well, I don't have much time to get this watched anyway. So, sweetheart, why don't you watch whatever you want to watch?
Okay, all right. How generous of you. And the fifth and final subtype under the quality time love language is the coworker. Now, I don't mean coworker like you're having an affair at work. I mean the coworker, and I put this one in specifically for me in that I enjoy quality time as both engaged in a task.
Okay. That's some kind of childhood trauma where you're not allowed to be bored?
No, that's what someone who doesn't have this subtype would say to someone that does.
Okay. Oh, all right. Let dig your grave. I'll bury you in it in a second.
Okay, good. I love doing the things you have to do when it's also spending time with someone else. So if I'm cooking and I need to cook, like it takes it from a chore into something I enjoy when like my daughter Kaya comes and does it with me, and we laugh and make jokes and cooperate and bounce ideas off each other, and then at the end we have something that we accomplished together and we're both proud of, as opposed to like, here's the dinner I made, I hope you like it.
Okay, interesting. So this is, if we're looking at this as a wheel, this is the one that butts up against acts of service, almost, for the love languages.
Yeah, yes. Just like conversation butts up against words of affirmation.
Yeah. I can get where you're coming from on this one, but I'm gonna politely and respectfully disagree, and here's why. So whenever I'm doing a chore or something, all right, inevitably, like if you're folding laundry, the other person comes up to help you when there's 3 things left in the basket. And that's kind of a running gag in our house, is that we only offer to help when the thing is almost completely done. It's like, oh, you need help cooking? Yes, I need help scooping it out of the bowl and putting it onto the table. Good job. Thanks for showing up. But the other part of this is like, oh, do you want some help with that? And I'll always pause for a second because, I mean, if you help, I can't listen to my book while you're doing it.
Ah, okay. Wow, this is just not in your circle. You do not possess this subtype. Like if I'm folding laundry, like if I've dumped out a clean load of laundry on the bed and I got to fold the whole thing myself, I would rather have another person there so that occasionally I could throw a sock at them and than just do the whole thing by myself.
So don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed the times because she will come up and help me fold a whole basket of laundry. And I enjoy the times we get to stand there and just kind of chit chat while we're doing the chore. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not listening to my book. And this is not to say that I would rather listen to my book than do a chore with my wife. I'm just saying there is an opportunity cost. Hey, it's my metric again. We're all back to it.
Yep. Alicia's very similar to you. So back to the intensity metric, I really enjoy when she is able to kind of let go of her desire to just do something solitary. Her favorite thing to do is find a chore that she can put on like some serial TV program that has 48 episodes or something and just put it on the background while she's knitting, sewing, cross-stitching, doing something that she can kind of just give it half attention to. And she doesn't want help with it, and she doesn't want to engage with anyone else. She just wants to do her solitary thing while she's doing the chore. But if it's me, for almost every single chore I can think of, I'd rather do it with someone else. It's just this is definitely my subtype under this love language.
I'm coming up blank. Like, yeah, it's there's chores that are fine. Like, this is great. I like doing chores with people, but at the same time, like, I mean, it'll get done faster. Like that's the benefit. That's it. Like,
wow. Okay. Well, these are the 5 subtypes I came up with under the quality time love language: the conversationalist, the adventurer, the athlete, the homebody, and the coworker. Maybe I need to rename that last one.
Again, you come with this very well researched and thoughtful, like, subcategories that fit into this wheel that blend into the neighboring love languages, and I just have a weird abstract idea that I can't articulate. I'm really contributing this one.
Maybe it was just right. We'll find out when I try to make the graphic. One thing we introduced in this podcast back in episode 128 was the hate languages, which is unique to us. We came up with, like, if you have a love language, then you're also particularly sensitive to experiencing negative emotions associated with things in that space.
Yes.
So
it's also your hate language.
Yes. So the hate language of quality time, we called it time spent in conflict. But I realized as I started digging into this with the intensity and the subtypes that it's different than that. If you have someone whose love language is quality time, here are the ways that they will feel the opposite of love. If the other person is too busy to spend time with you.
Okay. Yeah, you get like, hey, I want to spend time with you, and they actively blow you off.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't want to spend time with you.
And they may have legitimate reasons, but somebody whose love language is quality time is particularly sensitive to that. If they agree to spend time with you, but then they don't engage, that's also just kind of a screw you.
This is that weird moment you have where you're like watching a show together in air quotes, and the person looks over at you, and you're on your phone. You're like, "Are you even watching?"
Yeah, perfect, great example. Or when I ask my daughter to come cook with me, and she's just standing around watching me do it, and she's like, "So do you want me to do something?" I'm like, "No, just go away." Like, well, if you don't want to be here with me, I don't want to make you.
Now, to be fair, like what you actually wanted in that moment is for her to read your mind and perfectly synchronize with the actions that you are taking to create this meal without giving her any instruction. And she's waiting for you to give her like a task.
Yeah,
and you didn't.
It's a subtle thing that you want in the subtype of the coworker with quality time, but yeah. Another is if they are prone to canceling plans last minute. A person whose love language is quality time has to remind themselves, really think it through and be like, I'm sure there's a legitimate reason. This isn't them telling me they don't love me.
I think there's one here where it's if you want to spend time together, but you're at conflicting, motives. Where it's like if I'm trying to fold the laundry and the other person just wants to sit on the table and like chit chat or like throw socks at me while I'm trying to desperately fold these socks. Like that can feel bad. It's like, what are we doing? Like you're hampering me from accomplishing this thing now.
Yeah. Another is if they allow interruptions, and because the converse is that they actively shun interruptions. You're like, yeah, I'll spend this time with you. Oh, hang on, someone's texting me. Oh, hang on, I forgot that I got to go do a thing. Or then a person whose love language is quality time is prone to feel hate in those kinds of moments, even if it's not intended.
There's another flavor of this one too, where it's like you make plans with somebody and you're going to go do a thing, and then you show up, they show up to pick you up or whatever, and there's another person with them. It's like, oh yeah, I invited Chuck to come with us.
No, that totally happened to me, and I won't say who it was, but I had to swallow the feelings of like, is this a hate moment? Like, do they not want to spend time with me?
I have experienced that too, where it's like, made plans, somebody reached out to me for some help, and then I show up and there's like two other people there. It's like, oh, I'm not special. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And the last, I think, was in how we named the hate language, time spent in conflict, is the time you spend together results in conflict. Like, hey, we're trying to spend time together, but it's just causing friction, and it's actively hurting the relationship instead of building it.
These are the moments where you're hanging out with a person, and at some point you just want to look like you're both just seething, and somebody's inevitably going to look at the other person like, why are you being such a pain?
Josh, in that moment, just tell the other person that they need to calm down, and that'll fix everything. Okay.
No, we have a very healthy process of completely disengaging from the person until they calm down.
Oh, good. That sounds very healthy. So if you are a person whose love language is quality time, or you have someone in your life whose love language is quality time, remember these 6 things. Look for opportunities to share experiences together. Be present and engaged when they're happening. Look for opportunities for focused interaction. Make time on a regular basis, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. It matters. You have to keep doing it over and over again. Set goals and achieve them together, and celebrate milestones. These are the things that will make it. So that was our deep dive on quality time.
Also, if there's a thing that you really like, you should share it with that person. Like if there's a great podcast that you know about that is open to sponsorship opportunities, maybe share that with your well-off rich friend who wants to sell stuff on Amazon.
Fantastic. All right, Josh, what are you reading right now?
Oh, Ben. Oh, I'm kind of sad because I am just absolutely chewing through the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
And it's the last one that's out?
It's the last one that's out. It's called This Inevitable Ruin.
Huh.
And
Princess, what's the cat's last name? Princess Donut? Is Princess Donut the queen of level 9 yet?
Wait. Okay, are you making this up? Have you read this? Are you going?
They foreshadowed this in the first book, and I've only read the first book.
And this is one of the things that's great about this is that there's just Chekhov's guns littered everywhere. And the first book was like, oh, don't put on this crown. You'll be in the line of succession for the Blood Sultanate, which means you'll have to kill all the other people in the Blood Sultanate before you're allowed to leave faction wars on level 9. And yes, this whole book they are on level 9. And that is one of the big conflicts is we've got to kill the entire Blood Sultanate in order for Princess Donut to get out of here.
I feel like that's not even a spoiler because they just totally foreshadowed exactly that. So like it's either going to happen or it isn't.
I will say that Matt Dinniman is doing this wonderful, wonderful job of I mean, it's still fun and it's still this weird romp in a video game environment, but the stakes feel like that they're ratcheting up. Like the little tidbits and drips and drabs that you get from outside the dungeon and understanding like the bigger geopolitical environment of the greater galaxy keeps expanding. And like, it's really good. It's intriguing. I really like it. It's very humorous. I love that the main character feels like a Joe Everyman in a situation where something happens where you would go, what the F? He just immediately goes, oh, what the F? And it feels true to life.
Yeah. I definitely felt that way. I enjoyed his little curse that he says about his cat. That's kind of become the catchphrase. I don't know if he's still using that, but sometimes I think that in real life.
He says that like to everybody. Like the cast of characters has gotten large.
Huh.
Minor spoilers. Carl is a very important person, and just through happenstance and sheer grit and determination, he's kind of a big deal.
I mean, obviously, isn't that that's the classic hero's round, especially if he's going to take a long time and tell this story. He starts off as a nobody. He's Luke on Tatooine. He looks like he's a nobody, but he's going to save the galaxy.
Okay, minor spoilers. There is a scene in this book where he's talking to somebody who is actual royalty outside of the dungeon. And the person goes, okay, so we want to cut a deal with you as the de facto leader of Earth. And he goes, I'm sorry, what did you just say? He's like, oh, sorry, let me explain. According to our legal system and this and this and that, and then we adjourned. Like, they, unbeknownst to him entirely, they had him named the de facto leader of Earth. And this guy starts trying to negotiate an interspecies treaty with him about that. And Carl's response was, what the F does that even mean?
Right? And how that kind of seems like it conflicts with his status of this as almost like a slave in the gladiator arena.
This is the other part that's so good about this, because the author never loses sight of that. Because yeah, we got this bigger thing that's going on, all these crazy nonsense things, but every time the opportunity, and I always forget, but then Carl doesn't. And we're in a room with a person that's like, hey, we really need to figure this out because it's really posing a danger to the people in here. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is a really reasonable conversation to be having. And Carl immediately turns back like, oh, so it's important because your life is in danger now? F off. And I'm like, oh, right. He's kind of a slave here.
Right. That's the ultimate thing. Like, he can't just stop. He can't be like, all right, I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of success. But as the de facto leader of Earth, I'm gonna nope out of this game and stop playing right now. No, so he doesn't have that choice.
This is what I'm interested about in the next book. Like, I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know if it's ever going to come out. I don't know. Maybe it wraps up in the next, 5 hours that I have left in this book and the series is over. I don't know. But starting on the 10th floor, the crawlers can take a deal to get out of the dungeon. And so I'm really interested to see how that plays out.
Cool. Anything else to say about the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawl Carl series by Matt Dinniman?
Yeah. Jeff Hayes, the narrator. Holy crap, this guy's got some serious voice acting chops.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to say this about the last book, but you mentioned that there is that actor. He's in everything. He's Kronk. He was in Seinfeld a long time ago that sounds like Carl. They got that guy to voice Carl's dad in the last book.
Awesome.
And it was spot on perfect.
Fantastic. Oh, I can't remember that guy's name. Link in the show notes. All right.
Sponsor the podcast.
So,
guy we don't remember.
I just did an epic road trip from Salt Lake City to Anaheim, California, and back. And so I was on the road. I had plenty of time to listen to audiobooks. On the way down, my daughter needed to do some homework, so we listened to The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which is kind of dense, but a classic for a reason. And we had some good discussions about it in the car. And then I listened to Project Hail Mary by
Andy Weir.
Andy Weir.
Oh, yeah, that movie came out.
Is it out?
I don't know. Is it?
The trailers are out. I don't think the movie's out yet.
Oh, this tells you how up to speed I am on pop culture right now. Was the book good? Is it worth listening to?
Okay, so I also read and watched the book and the movie based on Andy Weir's book, The Martian. It's the same formula, kind of. He does some new things, but you've got a solo protagonist kind of taking on the universe by himself. He's plucky, he's sarcastic, he's smart, he makes mistakes. Sometimes he gets it right. It's a good formula. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Feels very well researched. Like, oh, this book is about growing potatoes. And then the Moon book, this book is about welding in space. It's like,
right.
Okay, cool. So what's the shtick of this one? What's the thing?
So the shtick of this one is that they discovered that the sun's energy is depleting way more rapidly than anyone thought possible. And it turns out there's this space bacteria that captures the sun's energy, and then it goes back to Venus to get carbon dioxide and makes a loop, and it's basically consuming the sun's energy so fast that the Earth is going to get cold and there will be a crisis and everyone will starve to death and there will be an ice age.
How long? Like what time frame?
They've got 30 years.
30 years? That's
which is enough to tell the people now that are still living, like, your life is going to be hell before it's over. Like, it's not. This is a problem for a future generation to worry about. This is a problem right now. And they find out that this bacteria basically has not only infected the sun, but it's infected everywhere within 12 light years of Earth.
That's a lot.
Like, it could just travel from one star to the next star and do its thing, except for one star.
Why is this star special?
Yes. So we have to design a spaceship and send a crew to that star to find out why it's not having the problem, so that we can save Earth before it freezes to death. That's the dilemma.
You can't even get to the Oort cloud in 30 years. Like, so there's some sci-fi hand wavy, like, old.
Yes, it's the magic system of the book. The bacteria is also the most efficient battery ever invented, and you can use it to release the energy that is captured from the star and travel at near the speed of light.
That's convenient.
So the thing that's killing the sun also enables near light speed travel.
Yeah, but even near light speed travel, like, it's going to take many years to get to where you're going.
Then the other hand wavy part of that is the theory of relativity. Like, once
time dilation. Nobody really knows how it works. You say fancy words like time dilation. Like, time dilation.
And there's a lot. And it's funny how when you're reading a book like this, that you can, if you're smart, you can kind of hear the things that are part of his magic system that he's making up. And then the stuff where it feels like, yeah, he really researched this, and this is probably legit scientific fact that he's spouting off right now.
Yeah, and every once in a while you get that combined with the form of fusion line where you're just like, okay, just flip the table. Nothing makes any sense. The points don't matter.
But he follows Sanderson's laws. He teaches you the rules of his magic system, and then he abides by them, and then he does the cool stuff within the limitations that he's set up within the magic system that he's established. So when something cool happens, it feels earned. It's not just the Emperor coming back from the dead and raising up Star Destroyers out of the dirt.
Off screen, he came back from the dead. Like, oh, what? Who? Disney. God, I'm so mad.
Who approved that script? Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to take a tangent. Josh, last time I went to Disney World, they had just opened up the Rise of the Resistance ride in the Star Wars area of the Disney World park, and it was so busy I wasn't able to go on it. They duplicated that ride, and it's also in Anaheim in California, and I was able to go on it for the first time, and it is easily, by a factor of at least 2, the best ride in both parks. It is superb. like the first day I was there, I was like, oh, it's kind of busy, we won't go. And we came back on the third day and went on it, and all of us walked out with our minds blown. It was amazing. So you're like a lot of Disney rides, they kind of have the queue that you're waiting in themed, and there's like mood noise going on. We're hearing people chattering about the Resistance and the Empire coming and stuff. And then you get to the front of the line, they're like, all right, thanks for joining the Resistance. Come get on this transport. We need to get out of here. And as you you walk out into the forest and there's a transport sitting there. It's not like a ride with seatbelts and stuff. You like just get into a transport and the door closes and there's a captain and a first mate and people going around, and you take off and it kind of feels like you're taking off, and then you get caught by a tractor beam of a Star Destroyer. And
sweet.
And then the same door that you came in opens and you're in a Star Destroyer. And I don't know how they did it. But there's like a legion of stormtroopers standing there, and there's a giant black portal that looks like it goes out into the void of space with a force field over it, and they like take you prisoner and put you in a cell, and then I won't spoil the rest of it, but it was mind blowing. It was so amazing. And we all agreed it was the best ride in the park. So whatever you do, do what you got to do to get on the Rise of the Resistance ride. It was incredible.
Absolutely. Yes, will do.
Okay. So back to Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Back to Project Hail Mary. Like,
I don't want
less cool sci-fi.
I don't want to spoil it. If you want to read the book, the movie's about to come out. It has an interesting structure, probably similar to Memento, one of Christopher Nolan's early movies, where basically you begin the story with the hero waking up on the spaceship out of a coma as part of a crew. And he doesn't remember anything. And then as he wakes up and starts to recover from the sleep that he's been in, he starts to get his memories back, and they start at a point in time in the past. And it's like there's two timelines happening in linear order that are both moving at the same pace. So that basically about the time you get to the end of the story that he's in, his memory catches up to the moment before he started the mission.
Okay.
So there's two timelines that are both moving at the same rate, and you keep jumping back to the old one.
So somebody at the print shop dropped the manuscript and jumbled all the chapters.
And shuffled them together in order, split up. So it literally looks like...
I'm imagining somebody taking a bunch of pieces of paper that are stapled together by chapter and be like, well, this is pretty good, but you know it would be better? Split it in half and then just doing like a card shuffle between them. Like, now we've got a story.
But he does it really well, because what'll happen is he'll need to do something, and then he'll have a flashback, and he'll remember a plan they made or a thing that they happened, and then future him gets that memory back after the flashback, and then it's relevant to what he's doing. He remembers how to do a thing. He remembers what the plan was. He remembers what his motivation was for...
Okay, so it's less Chekhov's gun and more Deus Ex Machina. It's like, oh, it's convenient that I have this memory of the thing that I need to do right now.
It's also the magic system. Like he eventually finds out why he didn't get his memory back all at once. They did it on purpose, and there's a reason. I won't spoil the reason, but
you keep saying that. There's only one thing that's a spoiler in this book, and they spoiled it in the trailer.
I don't think so. But if you don't want it to be spoiled, don't watch the trailer either. Anyway, great book. If you love The Martian, you'll love this. Andy Weir is best. I read it and enjoyed it, and it was fantastic.
Excellent, fantastic. You always wrap that segment up as if you're apologizing for having talked about a book for so long. Listen, I know I've been talking about this really great book that I really enjoyed. Nobody wants to hear me talk about things that I like. I'll forget it. Let's move on to the next topic on this podcast, where I do nothing but talk about the things that I like.
Okay, well...
don't apologize, dude. Just double down on it.
So I want to transition to our main topic. You've been super busy this week. We didn't have time to talk about what we're going to do, so I'm kind of hijacking the podcast here to get some counseling from you. So Josh, this week, on Tuesday of this week, there was a shooting on the University of Utah Valley University campus. Josh, my daughter is a student at Utah Valley University. So she was in class on campus the day that this shooting happened, where Charlie Kirk was shot and killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, before we go even further, This is just me talking. I'm not like I'm show my. All right, listeners, you know my politics by now. Just don't at me for any of what I'm about to say. I'm gonna adjust your wording slightly. I don't think there was a shooting on this campus. I think there was an assassination on this campus. I think there was a very few number of people that are actually in danger.
Great. I like that you're correcting it to that after the fact. I'm still going to use the word shooting at the beginning because I want you to stay with me on the emotional roller coaster that this was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I'm in a meeting at work at noon on a Tuesday, and all of a sudden this firestorm of text goes off on my phone, and I'm trying to ignore it because I'm engaged in the meeting that I'm in. And it's because my brother-in-law is high-level faculty at this university. My nephew's on campus. My niece is on campus. My nephew's girlfriend's on campus. My brother's father-in-law is on campus, and my daughter's on campus. So the family chat thread about, hey, there's word of a gunman on campus at UVU right now. Is everyone okay?
I was going to make a snarky remark about statistics and like the number of people at the campus versus, the
Sure.
likelihood of being
shot. It's the old, there was a train accident in Delaware. My grandfather rides trains.
Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
but you blew that out of the water when you listed half a dozen people that were all there in some capacity.
Yes, I had 4 immediate family members on campus that day. So when my text starts blowing up and say there's a gunman shooting on campus at UVU, what naturally does any American think right now when they hear about a person with a gun on campus and shots being fired? They're not thinking assassination. They're not thinking a hit on a single person. They're thinking the template that also happened in Colorado the same day, where some disgruntled person with a grievance, not necessarily towards any particular person, decides they want to go the same way as Dylan and Klebold and Eric Harris and take as many people with them and go out in a blaze of glory.
They're just a blaze of violence. I'm not going to call it glory, and I'm not going to remember their names for.
Unfortunately, we've made it into glory. We didn't do it on purpose, but it's happened. We've created a template.
I can empathize and understand that would be a very harrowing couple of. I don't know, how long did it take you to find out everybody was okay?
Okay, so I get the word, and it happened at like 12:10 local time, and I started getting the text maybe 10 minutes later, and by that time, in about the space of 5 or 6 minutes, it was clear that the shooting was over and everyone was safe. So I just had that little window of time, which is enough to go through the emotions and be like, is she okay? Where is she right now? Do I need to do something? What was the last thing I said to her? I hope she knows I love her. Like, all of that rushed through me.
Wow. Were you okay? Like, I get that you weren't directly or indirectly impacted by this, but are you okay?
That's why I started off by saying I need a bit of counseling. I just need to talk through this, and that's what a podcast is kind of for. I like, at the end, when it turned out to not be the thing that it felt like it was still something equally terrible, which is we're also in a place where the algorithm or the operatives in a room in Eastern Europe or just our natural proclivities have created this political environment that's so polarized that it's resulting in violence. Like, murder.
I've been jokingly, but like dark jokingly, that we're headed that direction anyway. And we're radicalizing to both sides of the spectrum. And this is what happens when you have such polar opposite discussions happening at the same time.
So once I knew my daughter was okay, so I'm in a network operations center, which is a giant room full of people. So, there's maybe 200 people in the room I'm in, and I'm not the only one. This university campus is the closest university to my work. It's literally a 20-minute drive south on the freeway. And all around me, the buzz starts happening. People start stepping away from their computers and small groups start forming, and people are like showing each other their phones because they had a friend, a loved one, someone there, and they're seeing this before it's even out on like Twitter, Instagram. Like, they're seeing videos that someone was taking at the time that Charlie Kirk was shot. And someone came over to me and showed it to me, and it was brutal and horrific. Like, he took that bullet in the neck, and it was really obvious immediately that he was not going to survive. Like, I knew well before that came out in the news that he was not going to make it.
Yeah. And I don't have much to add to this part of it because I found out about this later in the day. Like I was just at work cranking numbers on my computer.
Yeah.
And I'd go to lunch and scroll through some TikToks, and I subscribed to some news people, and I heard about the shooting. It's like, oh, there was a shooting in Utah. We don't have a lot of details. And like then you started sending me the like actual information because obviously you were much more vested in it than I was.
And it wasn't just vested like I was Googling and you were Googling, and if we were both trying, we would have found out the same stuff. My brother-in-law is on the IT staff at the university. He's a leader in the IT staff at the university, which means he had access to like the surveillance videos. And he's also a hobbyist police scanner. So he immediately turned on his police scanner and started monitoring and was texting out details over like the family text thread about what was going on.
We need to have another conversation someday about police scanning as a hobby.
I cannot speak for the hobby, so I'm not. We need to interview a guest.
No, vetoed. No guests.
Anyway, so he's vested, deeply vested, because he has accountability at the university level, and when the cops and the FBI start to arrive and start demanding to see the videos and stuff, he's involved in all of that, and they don't know who it is, and toxically, terribly, and inexplicably, for some reason, the commander-in-chief of the United States from thousands of miles away wants to scoop the press on the details of this. So he's tweeting almost in real time what's happened. He's speculating about who did it. He's the first to release the news that the guy has died before that information was even made public.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're a narcissist and have to be the center of attention.
Yeah, there's so much more to it than that. I don't know what to say. So I did what anyone said. When the guys came over to me and said, hey, Charlie Kirk was just shot at UVU campus, I'm like, who's Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, that was my first response to it. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he hadn't penetrated my circle, and for reasons. Like, he's made a name for himself and created a group called Turning Point USA, whose focus is like going to university campuses and trying to educate young people and get them out to vote. It's just
educate in italics, air quotes there.
He recently published a book called The MAGA Doctrine. That's not. It was intended to be flattering in its portrayal of the conservative principles behind the Make America Great Again movement. And he was here at the UVU campus as the first stop on his like dozens of campuses he intended to visit as part of his American Comeback tour.
American Comeback. This is the American Comeback? This is the... Okay.
And one of the things he does on these tours is he puts up a banner above the booth that he's in with his microphone and then has someone roving through the crowd with a microphone, and it's called Prove Me Wrong. It's supposed to be a play on the meme of the guy sitting at the card table with the sign on it. And he'll have some student that wants to come up and take him on one of his ideas, and then he tries to dunk on them and get a good video clip that then he can play on Instagram or TikTok or wherever of him poning the libs.
And of course, he does all of the things that you do when you're trying to get a soundbite, and that is commit all of the different logical fallacies, talk over the person, turn their microphone off so they don't get to respond to anything that you're saying, etc., etc.
I'm gonna be a little bit reluctant to join on with that. In his defense, he was peaceably participating in the right process for engaging in freedom of speech. He would deliberately go out and seek opposing opinions and take people on in the court of public opinion. Yes, it was slanted. Yes, there were logical fallacies committed, but he was still peaceably participating in the freedom of speech in the United States of America.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. That's really. I mean, you're completely valid when you say that, and I struggle with this idea because you're right. He's doing everything the right way, but with the wrong ideas from my perspective, right?
Sure.
And so it's. I said wrong and then right immediately after that to confirm that. That's a verbal tick I need to stop doing. It's so difficult to empathize with a person in this situation that's doing all the right things when everything that they stand for is, in your opinion, going backwards from where society should be going.
Yes. And in the current polarized environment, it was so easy to assume that before we knew who it was that had shot him, they must have been someone that opposed his ideas. And so there was this immediate knee-jerk reaction of prominent conservative pundits, including the President of the United States, running to the microphones and attributing the motivation of the shooter to their opposition. This guy represents us. He's been shot. He must have, whoever done it must have been in opposition to us. Therefore, they are the enemy and they are engaging in violence. And this really toxic dialogue started to go, and it's out of control. It's still, this is only 3 days ago. This wildfire is still burning and is not yet contained.
Yeah. I'm completely out of the news cycle, man. Ben,
you've been working a ton.
I just got off a 55-hour shift. Like I don't know what day it is. I don't know what color the sky is right now. So all I can imagine is going to go through every like the same cycles that it always does, where like, oh, everybody will stand up and say one thing, and then if it gets proved wrong, they will downplay all of the talk about how it was wrong, and then just spin the story somehow to their benefit anyway.
Okay, so they've apprehended the killer. His name is I can't remember. I'll find it.
Doesn't matter.
Not really.
Let's not glorify him by giving him a name.
Yeah. Anyway, it's starting to look like he was likely a conservative who was a fan of Charlie Kirk, who potentially was offended when Charlie Kirk notably split from the Trump administration when they started refusing to release the Epstein files like they said they would. And this put out a lot of conservatives that had invested a lot of their personal capital and a lot of their public voice in calling for the release of this because they felt that it would be beneficial to their cause and all of the things that they believed in. So then when the Trump administration kind of reversed their position and said, no, we're not going to release the Epstein files, he departed from them a little bit and called them out for it. And it may come out, and I think this is the case, that this guy that shot him felt betrayed by that and shot him because of it.
So the person that shot him was just so ultra mega that when he backed off of the party line, that was enough to deserve the shooting that he got.
I don't know that that's the case, but I think that may turn out to be the result. So this is not some ultra liberal that looks at Charlie Kirk as the embodiment of the conservative movement and thinks that they can kill it by just shooting this one person. This is probably, okay, here's where I want to go with this. Remember the scene in Gorman where the the Empire was trying to start a riot and they put a sniper on the building to shoot their own guy?
Yeah. Oh, like, is this our Gorman? Is this our riot that they're trying to start?
It might be. It feels like a wildfire's been lit and it's not going to go out. And the stupid thing was, it was an Imperial soldier on top of the building shooting the Empire guy down in the arena, and everyone wants to just blame the opposition.
Yeah. This feels like a weird low budget political drama that's playing out.
Josh, it's so exhausting. So this is the part I need counseling about. My daughter's fine. She's not traumatized. Her cousin's a little bit traumatized because he was in a classroom that was really close to the gunshot, and like they could see the crowd outside the window, and so all of a sudden they hear a bang and see everyone start running, and they went into full like there's an active shooter on campus panic mode. Yeah. And he's traumatized, and I hope he can recover and go back to school and be all right. But my daughter, she finished out her class. She just had a little bit of trouble getting off campus that day, and she's just kind of
more inconvenience than anything.
She's just kind of sad that Charlie Kirk was a 31-year-old man with a wife and 2 kids who was just engaging in free speech on campus that day and didn't deserve to die.
Did not deserve to die. And all right, so this is the part, and we kind of had a little bit of a text conversation, which is probably why it comes up in the podcast. But like, I was struggling the day after, like immediately the day after when I found out this had happened and I realized who Charlie Kirk was. I was having like this mental juxtaposition, this dissonance, this conflict in my mind, because I know as a person that respects like free speech and the sanctity of human life and all that, I should feel bad that this person was shot. But I didn't. I didn't have any of those feelings. I was like, well, I don't care about that person. I don't particularly care that he was shot to death. And like, but I should feel bad, but I don't, but I should. And it was that conflict that was causing problems for myself. And funny enough, social media, turns out I'm not the only person that felt this way. And so somebody articulated this very well that I saw, and I really liked it. And I'm not going to be able to quote them exactly, but it was to the point of, you know that you're supposed to feel empathy, but that is mitigated by the empathy that you saw in the other person. And so I saw no empathy for the plight of many, many disregarded groups in this country from Charlie Kirk. And I am having a hard time digging up the empathy that I feel like I'm supposed to feel for a person that just didn't care.
That's understandable. I mean, he was notably quoted on the record following like a school shooting of just saying, well, this is the cost of having the Second Amendment in the United States, is that some people are going to die.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're just writing this off then. So guess what, Charlie? I guess you're one of those statistics now. Was it worth it?
Yeah. Yikes. So I was just feeling heavy this week because of all this. Like, just the polarization, whether it's the algorithm, like whether the shooter who had just been caught in an echo chamber where he just saw this as the only way to deal with his feelings he was feeling, because the algorithm kept feeding him the, I don't know, riling him up like a berserker.
I don't know. I don't want to say that this is almost exclusive to the right, but I feel like this is almost exclusive to the right. You and I are constantly talking about, like, we need to solve these things through discourse. I think Democrats in large are like, we need to talk about or work through the process or use the system. And the disruption is all coming from the other side of the aisle. Look at what the administration is doing. Like, it's okay to do completely radical, semi-illegal, if not blatantly illegal things to get the job done, because this is what we've got to do.
The ends justify the means. Yeah.
Not to mention, I can't remember the last time. Like, there have been several No King's Day protests around the country. I don't know how many of them had nooses with them talking about how we need to murder the president of the United States.
None. But notably, Arthur Falasa Alu was at the No Kings protest in Salt Lake City and died, in some random violence that was kind of associated with the political upheaval that was happening because of that. And then you probably remember, we also talked about this on the podcast back in 2023. There was a guy that had gone on social media and was saying he should get out a sniper rifle because Joe Biden was coming to Utah, and the FBI showed up at his house, and he was armed and resisted and ended up getting shot. So, there's kind of a recent rash of political violence in Utah, and I just felt so sad. Like, why is it coming to this? Like, I don't want people to die, even if they disagree. Why where's the exit ramp? How do we stop this? How do we get out?
We're normalizing it. It's okay. Like, everything that you hear on social media, all of your leaders talking about how you're the underprivileged one. You're the person that's actually being screwed over by all of this. And they're misdirecting all of that blame because, frankly, gas prices aren't as high as they are because of minorities or LGBTQ or immigrants. They're not causing your gas prices to be high, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't know if that's a hard pill to swallow. But for some reason, these are the scapegoats that we're using. Oh, your life sucks. It must be because of all these people who don't look like you.
Yeah. Oh, that's so terrible and sad. I thought we were getting better. I thought humanity.
We were getting better, Ben. It's a pendulum. Like, we were getting too better too fast, and people that had more conservative values, people that, I don't know, that respect. One of the things I keep seeing is that, like, you don't want equality, you want privilege. Like, you only want this stuff applied to you. You get mad when ICE raids your work, but you want ICE to raid everybody else's work. Notably, ICE raided a Hyundai factory because, I don't know I think it's South Korea.
Samsung?
Hyundai.
Oh.
It was Hyundai. There was a Hyundai factory in the South where they are standing up manufacturing in America, and they brought over some
Korean engineers to help with the battery technology.
Yeah, to educate and help the people stand this up. And somebody called them in and raided the place. Like, yeah. Do you want us to have manufacturing in this country or don't you? You need to pick a lane. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm losing my point in all of this, but like I'm just so like you can't, like your point. You're not making your point, and the way that you're trying to make your point is counterproductive to what you are trying to accomplish. And you're being like, the people that are out there trying to assassinate the right-wing people are other right-wing people. Like I'm not going to say all of it. That's an exclusive term, and we're not exclusive. Most of the violence that I am seeing is coming from one side of the spectrum, and I don't know why we keep demonizing each other when the problem is the radicalism in the first place. We all need to agree, hey, to solve our problems, it's going to take us both. We can't get rid of the other side. We need to have discussions about this. And as wrong as I believe everything Charlie Kirk said was, like you said, it's tough to not feel something when somebody who's engaging in the system the way that I want the system to be engaged with gets shot and killed, discouraging further people from engaging in the system.
Yeah, we just need to bring the temperature down. Like, can we all just calm down a little bit and recognize? Okay, so I saw a video this week.
Are you saying that in general? Are you saying that to me? Because I'm getting ramped up.
No, not to you. I saw this video this week that was spliced together where under the Obama administration, there had been some kind of act of violence. I can't even remember what it was. But it was a time where people would expect the President of the United States to sit down behind his desk at the Oval Office, look directly into the camera, and speak to the American people, which Trump did that same evening following the shooting of Charlie Kirk. So what this video was, without any editorializing, was simply the video of Obama talking and the video of Trump talking spliced together at even intervals to show and contrast the difference in the approach of the administrator.
I don't care what your politics are. You can be the most right-wing person on the planet. You have to admit that when Obama spoke, he sounded like the President of the United States and not some old guy on his porch yelling at kids.
That's what the difference was. Obama said, this is a tragedy. And as the President of the United States, I got to do what I can to try to help with it. We need to acknowledge our common humanity. We need to be kind to each other. We need to be understanding. We need to recognize the things that we all share. And we need to take a moment like this to take stock of our lives and to maybe extend some forgiveness and some understanding and do better and make the world a better place. And that's such a terrible contrast with what came out of the orange man's mouth of device. And he might have, if you asked him to characterize the speech that he gave that night, he would probably say it was the same thing, but it wasn't. It was blaming and ugliness from start to finish without evidence and xenophobia and hatred, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting. And we're not going to get there. We're not going to solve this problem with that in the Oval Office, with that person sitting in the most powerful, the position, the most powerful person on earth.
Ben, it's been 9 months. We are 9 months into this
Oh
administration.
my gosh, it feels like an eternity, Josh.
Yeah, and I fear okay, I'm not a political scientist, I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty good at math, and I'm pretty good at putting points on a graph and then drawing a line to connect those points and seeing where this line is pointed. It has gotten more violent. It has gotten more divisive. It has gotten objectively worse for more people in these past 9 months. And I fear for what the next 3 years has.
And the economic impact is starting to hit. The unemployment has set new records the last 2 months, even though they're trying to
no, it hasn't. No. The guy that came up with those numbers, he got fired. He clearly doesn't know
what the
hell
new
he's
guy
talking
came
about.
in and said not only were those numbers low, but they weren't low enough. They were wrong in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you watched any of the South Park season?
I've been watching the clips that have made the news because they were so inflammatory towards the new administration. I've seen a few. They're very profane, and I'm not even going to link them in the show notes. But
don't link them in the show notes. But I respect South Park's willingness to go against somebody that's willing to incite violence. And also, I don't know if you ever watched the original South Park movie back in the aughts when I was in college that came out, and I watched it bootlegged because I pirated stuff back then. Don't at me. It was the 2000s. We all did it. And like the animation style and the voice acting is identical to Saddam Hussein, who was portrayed as the person that was going to destroy the planet Earth in that movie.
Yeah. The satire kind of helps, and I think we're still in a place where people can speak out, but it feels like we're moving towards a place and a time where you're not going to be able to anymore. For instance, there was a website stood up the day after the Charlie Kirk shooting where people were going out on the internet and searching for people that they felt like were reacting inappropriately to his death and doxing them, basically. And it was called Charlie's Murderers, I think was the name of the website. And
that's not stoking the flames at all.
Yes, not only that, but it was like the intent was like so that their employers would know about it so they could fire them. And they were putting people on the website that had said bad stuff about Charlie from before he was shot.
You're not allowed to have retroactively spoken against somebody that disagreed with you.
Yeah.
That's Gestapo stuff. That's
right.
That's like political thinking cleansing type stuff.
Right. And there's some really toxic stuff happening on social media. This is our plea here on the Bad Imagine podcast. Can we please just take the temperature down? Can we please just be more forgiving and recognize what we have in common and realize that if we're going to make the world a better place, we got to find a way to overcome our differences, and it's not killing people. That's not the answer.
Ben, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell my family anytime we move or do some big, massive cleaning chore. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better.
I say that too about cleaning, but I hope this isn't cleaning, at least that kind. I had something happen this week, Josh. So I think that was, I can't remember. I'm losing track of the days. I think that was September 10th that happened. The following day was September 11th. It has now been 24 years since terrorists flew passenger jet planes into, 3 buildings in the Pennsylvania countryside on September 11th, 2001. Every year since then, I've participated meaningfully in some kind of remembrance ceremony of that. And I've taken a little bit of time to just feel the emotions again and think about it. This year, for the first time in 24 years, the day passed and I realized I'd forgotten that it was September 11th. And it wasn't just because it had been enough time. It was because this political turmoil and today in this moment was enough that it overshadowed that after 24 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so September 11th is really important to us because we lived through it at the time when we were adults and we understood the impact and we felt it and we saw our lives change in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Younger generations, like my kids weren't alive when 9/11 happened. Gen Z may have been alive, but may have been toddlers when it happened. Like this is quickly becoming like the Berlin Wall falling for us. Like you objectively know that the Berlin Wall fell and that our parents experienced it, but you never ask them about it because it's just something that's in your history textbook.
Yeah. So for the first time in 24 years, I didn't remember September 11th like I had for the previous 23.
Well, I remembered, so shame on you.
We had on our calendar at work a moment of silence scheduled, and it was so overshadowed by this, but specifically because of the proximity to the shooting of Charlie Kirk and how many people knew someone that was involved or was there when it happened, that they couldn't talk about September 11th. They gathered the room together for the September 11th remembrance and had to talk about the shooting at UVU.
Target of opportunity. Well, we've got everybody in the room anyway. Might as well kill 2 birds in a stone.
Okay, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but I wanted you to try to imagine that you're like somebody in HR in my company and you need to talk to the employees and you want to do what's in the best interest of the company. What do you say to them at a moment like this? I want to see how close I want to see how close what you think you would say compares to what they actually said.
I'm HR and I am trying to show empathy from the corporate perspective while still maintaining high morale.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak to like oh, we've got to remember and we've got to be this way, or what am I gonna say? Oh, this is what happens when you mix politics in a professional environment. Like no good can come of this stuff. We all just need to remember that we're a team and a family trying to do the best that we can for the people that we're supporting, and everything that's counter to that has no place in this workplace. So sanitize your cubicles because no more American flags for you.
That had a little bit too much satire in it, but yeah. What they said was more like, okay, obviously a lot of people in this room were deeply impacted by this and may still be feeling it. There are professional resources available to you if you need them. We can help you get access to that.
That's what I missed. My wife would have nailed this speech.
And then also you need to keep in mind that people know that you're in Utah and there are customers and they may want to talk to you about this, but you may not talk to them about this.
Also, we are going to clean out the fridge on Friday, so make sure you throw away your leftovers.
Josh, were you there? Oh, man. And then they said something like, and if you want to have a moment of silence, there's a video on YouTube that lasts 11 minutes. You can just turn that on and listen to
that. Not like, oh, we're going to sit and watch this video for 11 minutes. But there are resources for you that we have provided and resources that are on YouTube, so we will not provide them.
And, I don't have any problem with any of that. It was all well-intentioned, and I could see the conflict of interest between the people needing to recover and cope and discuss, and also the risk associated with, like, getting in a political discussion with our customers over a highly inflammatory incident and them wanting to nip that in the bud as soon as they can. So
I was talking to somebody, they will remain nameless, and they came up and they said, oh, did you hear about the shooting? I was like, oh, yeah, my buddy was texting me about it. That's crazy. And they said, yeah, I actually went there when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's really scary. Well, like some political guy, right? Because this is the time I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. Like some politician or something, right? And this person looks at me and goes, well, they were an activist. And that's when I knew in my mind, okay, I can no longer have any meaningful dialogue about this with this person.
Yep. Yeah, I had a similar discussion with somebody where they started revealing what their political bent was, and I'm like, yeah, this becomes too unprofessional too quickly and very problematic, so I'll just not engage.
And this is the scary part, is I don't feel comfortable expressing my political views out in the world where people can actually talk to me. Listeners, like, you're real people too, but I'm comfortable sharing myself with you because I'm also pretty sure you don't know where I live. But the people that are in my real life out and about, I'm not comfortable expressing my actual feelings anymore. Again, because of the temperature that we're talking about, we need to come down.
Yeah. There's another element at work here, and I think it's something that we aren't doing deliberately, but I think people need to keep in mind. Listeners, if you haven't noticed yet, Josh and I have relatively dissimilar political opinions on a lot of things. There was a lot of stuff that Charlie Cook stood for that I'm really in favor of. He talked a lot about small government, individual liberties, skepticism of authority. I can really identify with all that stuff. He also said a lot of stuff I don't like very much. But I don't think he deserved to die for it. And here on the Bad at Magic podcast, Josh and I don't always agree on things, but we do engage in meaningful dialogue, and we let our friendship be the overriding aspect of things, not our political loyalties or our worldviews.
Yeah, I'm not going to and this is the thing, is whenever we disagree on something, it doesn't come to a shouting match. We don't entrench ourselves in the position that we are already in. I think you and I have enough mutual respect that we listen to the other person's side and then tear down the defenses that they've built around that position.
Well said. It's like Isaac Asimov's 3 rules. As long as our friendship is in the first place spot, then the differences can be down the way, like you said.
It's like the guys at the pub after the soccer game that'll beat the crap out of each other, but then walk home singing the same song. Yeah,
very well said. That's all I have to say about that, and I think that's probably a good place to end. So, listeners, if this evokes emotions in you, if you want to talk about this, I'd like to feel like we're starting to establish a safe place for dialogue. I want to hear what you have to say, what you're feeling, what you think you could do. If you feel safe to say it. If you don't, send me a private message or something. We can talk. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
If you like what we do, consider sharing us with a friend. If you really want to show some love, consider taking your phone out of your pocket and giving us those clicks, those 159 clicks that we so need in order to take this to the next level where people might actually pay us to spout some nonsense. Listeners, you will never hear my voice happier than the day I get to hawk some third world, like, terrible coffee pod. It'll be great. I'll love it. And if you really... I completely derailed myself. If you want to listen to me and Ben be friendly while disagreeing with each other, and importantly, not shooting the other person from now until the end of time, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page.
And until next time, try to be a little less bad at magic.